one of the topics that I wanted to discuss was um Jelani Day. I don't know how many people have been keeping up, with the current news and reports, and of the situation going on with him missing and then being found dead a month later, and then it's just a
Then it
lot
took
of
them 2 weeks to even identify him. It was like, really?
yeah, because he was in the water for he was missing for a month, and if I read it right, he was in the water that whole time, and they said it was really hot in that
Yeah.
area. So I don't know how many people have been keeping up with that story. I know I just did a little bit on Gabby Petito, who they had just determined that she had been strangled to death, most likely by her boyfriend, who has been missing ever since. He's been missing for a month now. He's been
They
missing
not
for a
gonna
month now.
find that boy.
I don't think so. I think he done skipped the country.
Exactly.
A month,
They
a month
because had they arrested him
at the time.
at the time, like they
Hmm.
would have done Taekwon or you know somebody from
Yeah,
the hood.
yeah.
If
And
they
I
would have
saw that
done
video
that,
too. Did you see the video of her when she was talking to the cops?
no.
There's like two different videos. One where they first had her get out the car and explain what happened. Then another clip was when she was sitting in the back of the police truck because they wanted, they was talking to her and just asking her make sure she was okay, trying to calm
Hmm.
her down. And you could literally see that this child, well, she's 22, but
Yeah.
she was terrified, she was scared, she was nervous, and you could tell, like, a lot of people there, those police officers are getting backlash because they're like, you couldn't tell that this girl was in a dire situation, that she needed to be totally rescued instead of y'all driving the boyfriend to a hotel to separate them for the night. And then they had no idea if the boyfriend even checked in because it was domestic violence. You know how they do the domestic violence
Yeah.
hotel stays and stuff. They don't put it under their name. So
Oh,
they don't
okay.
know if the boy checked in or not. And
Well,
yeah, but
see,
yeah, if they would have arrested him on site.
I'm not a big fan of the police in general. I'm
Mm-hmm,
not. You know me.
mm-hmm.
But given where they were, this was, some of them little country police officers. This may not be
Yeah.
something that they were used to seeing or dealing with.
And that's what they were saying, but they saying cops should be trained for domestic violence to
That
know if
is true.
somebody's life is in jeopardy.
That I was
And the
about to
fact
say
that people
too.
had seen him hitting her and slapping her, and they still didn't arrest him.
Mm.
But then to Jelani Day, like, what do you
I
think
don't want
about
to say
this?
nothing because then people be like, "Oh, you bashing the victim." I mean, I hate that stuff nowadays that you can't even speak the truth without people. Oh, you bashing this or you slut shaming and you bet. Why can't people speak the truth no more? What is wrong with saying?
Because
Because
there's
I
too
was
many
going to
sensitive
say
people out here, and that's going to get me talking about Dave Chappelle. But keep going, keep going.
what I was going to say was, um,
Mm-mm.
how much responsibility does she bear in the situation? You know how you're allowing someone to physically hurt you,
It
and
goes
you
on all the
say
time. It goes on all
exactly,
the time.
it does.
Hmm.
And I say this to females that I know: how many times do you have to get your head bashed in before you say, "Hey, that's one too many times"?
How many times does it take?
Because
Because
for
most
me,
likely,
one is more than enough, and
hmm
you gonna feel my wrath.
hmm
Trust and believe me.
yep, I don't understand why. You can look at it from the outside and be like, I don't understand why people don't leave, why people do, why people,
Hmm.
and it's really hard to understand when you're not in that person's shoes. But the thing
True.
about it is, most likely, when they saw him hitting her and slapping her and knocking her around, it most likely was not the first time. He did not wait till
Oh
they on a
yeah.
trip, you know, in Wyoming wilderness to decide to hit on her then.
He probably, you know what? And the sad part is, he had probably planned that. He
You
probably
know, I
planned that.
I thought about that. I sure did.
Now, the one thing, another thing that I might get backlash from, wha- there's like 20 black females from Chicago missing right now.
Right now.
So what makes this one little white girl so special?
And that's why I wanted to talk about Jelani Day as well tonight. Um, have you seen any of the videos? Because I want to play a video. It's about 6 minutes. I know a lot of people probably busy or might be watching or not watching, might have to watch it later. But I really want to show this video, especially for those of y'all who have not heard much about it, because that's why the police and authorities are getting backlash now, because they are comparing the coverage and the police attention of Jelani Day and Gabby, who both missing around the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and how Gabby got way more coverage
Oh
than
yeah.
Jelani. So the police and authorities are getting some backlash
I'm
about
gonna
that
be
right now.
honest. I'm shocked that he even got any
Hmm.
coverage. And that
Hmm.
I'm being honest, especially with him being a black male.
Right. Right.
It's
And
hard
he's
enough to get a
young.
black female on there, but they actually profiled a black male. Oh,
Hmm.
honey, I was shocked and surprised. Oh,
Girl. Well, let me show this video. I want everybody to watch this video, and Carmel Diva and I will give our feedback or our commentary on this video, and then I'm going to discuss some of the most recent things that his mother has been saying, and
mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So grab you a drink, grab you some snacks, and get ready for this 6 minute video, y'all.
6 minutes. Six minutes.
6 minutes.
6 minutes. Better get fresh shit on.
Hey,
On.
on,
On.
on.
On. I'm sorry, I had to
Girl,
do that.
girl, it's okay. Shoot. Gotta have some fun. Have some fun.
All right.
Okay. Now the title of this news cover says family is pushing for answers into Jelani Day investigation. And let me bring it up here on the screen. Uh-oh. Why do I always do that? Okay, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Now let me put up our little banner real quick, our copyright. Maybe I'll put it in front.
That might
I'm
work.
having a moment, y'all.
We
I'm
noticed.
having a
We
moment.
wasn't gonna say nothing now.
But here we go. Okay, put up our little copyright disclaimer. We are using this for criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, education, and research. So we are claiming fair use for this, because I know a lot of people has been getting hit with showing videos on their channel. Um, even if it is a news story that they're covering. Let me make this bigger.
Regarding the condition of Day's body.
The family's
Hold on.
attorney is here to talk more about this case. Haley Besner.
Day is speaking out after laying her son to rest this weekend.
Questions are swirling regarding the condition of Day's body. The story has garnered national attention. The mother of 25-year-old Jelani Day is speaking out after laying her son to rest this weekend. Questions are swirling regarding the condition of Day's body.
The family's attorney is here to talk more about this case. Haley Besner joins us. And thank you for taking the time, Hallie, to be with us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about a statement that Jelani's mom put out, saying in part that no organs were missing, that there were contradicting facts from the first preliminary autopsy, and said that this is not a case of organ harvesting. Can you clarify what we know from the independent autopsy?
That's correct. We do not believe that this is any sort of organ harvesting or trafficking situation. My understanding is that essentially the body was just in very bad condition after having been in warm water in the Illinois River for probably 11 days. So there were things like eyes were missing, but that is consistent with what you would expect with a body that's found in a warm body of water for that period of time.
Attorney Besner, not sure if you can answer this just yet, but has there been a determination on the cause of death? And is the FBI helping out with this investigation?
No cause of death as of yet from either the first or second autopsy. Still waiting on cause and manner, hoping that we'll get some answers soon. But we realized that because the body had so much decomposition to it, that may not be something that we're able to determine from the autopsy. The FBI is involved. They have a behavioral analysis unit. I spoke to some of the officers on the case earlier today. I understand that they have a conference call set up with the FBI on Wednesday. My understanding is that the FBI has been reviewing reports that have already been done, reviewing interviews, evidence that's already been collected, and sort of offering their opinion on what the police need to do next in terms of who they need to speak to, questions that need to be asked so that we can get some answers to some of the questions we've been asking.
You know, one of the big questions here, you mentioned that the manner and cause of death is not known at this point. Jelani's mom, of course, says her son was murdered. Is there evidence pointing to murder right now?
I believe so, yes. I believe so, yes. There's no plausible explanation for Jelani's body ending up in the river other than foul play. Jelani's car was found 60 miles north of Bloomington, where he went to school in a town that he had never been to before. The area where the car was found is very suspicious for a car to be there. It's not a place that Jelani would have known about. It's a place that someone local may have known about, but it's not somewhere that you would drive and drop your car off on the side of the highway. The car had no license plates on it. We still don't know where the license plates are. We don't know where the car keys are. We don't know where his cell phone is. His body presumably went into the river about 3 miles from where the car was found. And that last week of August was really hot in central Illinois. It was about 104-degree heat index. There's no way he drove 60 miles, hid his car in the woods, got rid of his license plate somewhere, and then walked 3 miles to put himself in the river. I mean, and he was on the swim team in high school. It's not like he would have accidentally drowned. To me, there's no plausible explanation besides foul play.
Sounds like a lot of questions, and that family definitely deserves to get those answers. Attorney Besner, thank you so much for joining us on First at 4.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the clip that I wanted everybody to see, because it's a lot of people who do not know about this disappearance of this young Black college kid. And like they said, he was a swimmer on his swim team in high school, but he was found dead in a body of water, a river, not an ocean, but a body of water. So they're basically saying, it's most likely that he did not drown. Yeah, like a creek or something like that. So it's very suspicious. Very suspicious. And then the fact that
is ironic. And I just told you.
Oh, welcome to the chat, Miss Sislo.
Hey, Miss Sislo. But the town that his car was found in, just a week ago, I stayed in that town.
Wow.
Spent the night, me and my kids, on our way to Chicago. It got late, and I was like, okay, I'm tired. Let's pull over. And the motel or the hotel we slept at literally was right under the town water tower.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't find out that this young man went missing or his vehicle was found in that town until like 2 days ago. I was like, what the hell? That scared me.
That is really scary.
That I had, especially for the fact that I'm traveling with my almost 19-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another young black man that's dead and missing. Well, he was missing, but
Right.
rest his soul, now he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very
I'm like the
suspicious
lawyer.
death.
I believe that this was foul play. And I'll tell you, I'm gonna let you finish what you were about to say, but I got an
Oh.
opinion on this whole thing.
Oh, I was just saying that it's very suspicious, and it was it's a lot of foul play that was going on, most likely by more than one person. But his mother, they have a Facebook page. If anybody you want to follow his Facebook page, it's called Justice for Jelani Day. And I think his mother is the one running it, because most of the posts have like her name under it, Carmen Bolden Day. But she did say, because at first it was brought out in the public, in the media, that his organs, like all his organs were missing, his eyeballs, his jaw was sawed off, things like that. But she
His
just posted
brain, his
something.
liver, his spleen.
Yep, his spleen. And she posted 3 days ago. She said, I want to be very clear about this journalist and his article. Nowhere in the article did it say the eyes or the organs were removed. She said, my previous post was written because I was and continue to constantly receive messages and questions about organ harvesting, which again, I said was not the case. So I don't understand how that story came into play. Maybe it was because his body was so deteriorate, because it was in the water for a long time, and they said it was 104.
Yeah, probably badly decomposed.
Yes.
And you got animals out there, but to me that only plays so much into the decomp of his body and the condition of it. Like, how is animals typically do not devour a whole body or a whole part of a body. They'll take parts of this and then move on to another part. They don't eat the whole brain.
Unless it's a really big animal, like, and he was in like a river, like in Chicago, or not Chicago, but outside of the city. They said it was like how many miles away?
It's not too far from Chicago.
Kind of hour away.
Yeah, away from Chicago.
I'm sorry.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, boo.
Hey.
I said in a lagoon. If he was in a lagoon or something where there are alligators and things like that, maybe, yeah. But right. This whole thing with the young exploited missing athletic type, especially African American, brings that movie, the one with the sunken place. What was it? You guys know what I'm talking about. The movie that talked about the sunken place.
Get Out. Get Out.
Okay.
It brings that movie, right? Anything that
you got a lot of
Hollywood
feedback, Mr. Slow.
Based on. Do I? Okay, because I'm traveling, so I'm gonna mute and try to fix it. But I'm listening.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just letting you know you got a lot of feedback.
Oh no, I don't.
You got like your windows down? You got like your windows down?
No. My windows are up, but I'm gonna mute it until I, get because I'm on a freeway.
Oh,
so it's gonna be kind of.
Well, you can keep talking. I was just letting you know. I didn't know if you had your windows down or not.
Oh no, but
but keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. I mean, it brings that movie to light, and the thing about it is that a lot of those movies in Hollywood are really based on true to life situations or things like that. Now, I'm not saying that they're harvesting organs, for that type of thing that was in the movie, but organs are being harvested, and not to say that that's the case with Jelani, because it's unclear whether his organs were missing or not. For sure, it was rumored But then we do have a lot of young people fitting his profile, and other young African American young people that have come up missing and turned up, their bodies turned up without the organs and things like that. And
Just
you
like
know, we can't
Kendrick
help but to
Johnson down there in Alabama.
oh my God, ain't that girl? And they found that baby rolled
And
up in
have
the
they even gotten
cereal.
even closer? I mean, I know the case, his case has been brought back up into the media recently, but have they even
Taking
got
that
any
movie
closer to
stuff.
figuring out what happened to him? Because of course that whole
They know
bullshit
what
story,
happened to him. They
that
not gonna
bullshit
say it
story
though.
talking about he
Yeah.
fell into the rolling
How the
that
hell you fall
You
into
fell
a
into a
18-inch
with
vat
wide thing?
with his shoes on top, off his feet.
How you fall into an
and
18-inch
his
wide?
organs missing.
And his organs missing.
His
Right.
body
Now that
stuffed
one was correct about the
his
organ
body
missing.
was stuffed with paper.
Yep.
Newspaper.
Yep.
Shredded newspaper. Come on here,
How
somebody.
Yep.
disrespectful is that? Just and nobody knows where the fuck the organs is. Somebody know where them organs is because them
Somebody walking
organs gonna
around with them
tell
organs right
the
now in their
organ. But
body.
this is what I
Somebody
want to bring up
wealthy
with
and
Jelani too.
overseas.
Them organs is gonna tell the whole story.
Somebody
So they
wealthy
can't let
overseas.
them be found. They can't let them be seen. That's why they're missing from Kendrick. And I truly believe, the mama has to come out here and say, oh, no, it's not here because it's an ongoing case. But I believe that's what happened with Jelani, too, because I believe this is my belief. This is me. If y'all got something to say, hit Karma Diva up. Don't hit the hood table up. But this is what I believe. I believe because there is another video. Well, there's two other videos.
Mm-hmm.
Jelani went to a marijuana. Okay, the first video he was dressed up. He had on like a suit. I mean a nice shirt, a tie, slacks, and then the next thing you see, he's in running shorts and a t-shirt
Mm-hmm.
and a dispenser in a marijuana dispensary. They say he's in Peru, Illinois, a little old hick town that he probably never would have been in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. That's one of them drive-throughs. Just they had one strip, literally. Everything was on this strip. I can tell you because I was there last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I believe he probably met a young Caucasian woman, a little Caucasian girl. She calls and tells him, "Hey, come over. Let's get together. Go get some weed. We can kick it. Blah blah blah." He goes.
Hey,
You in
Polo.
you in this little hick town with a little hick princess, and now I believe they were probably about to have sex or had sex in his car. Because why would why would you be naked? Where the hell was like they said, where's the license plates? Where's the keys? This young man was found naked. I believe that girl either set him up or she just, he was in the wrong town with a
Somebody
young
even
white
thought it
girl.
might have been some type of Emmett Till stuff
Right,
going on.
right. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm hinting at. That's what I'm intimating. But that, hey, he was with this white girl, they didn't like it, and they handled it. And I don't know if they took his organs out, if animals got a hold to him, or if the coroner actually has them and is reviewing them. I don't know what the deal is. I pray that this gets solved and that the family finds some kind of peace. Um, you'll never truly be at peace with something like this, but some kind of peace of mind through
Right.
all of this.
Right, because on that same post, his mother at the end, she said, I don't know if any of you even remotely consider how draining and emotional this is for my entire family. She said in capital letters, we are not okay. I'm not okay. So please continue to pray with and for us. Pray for the community and people that are helping us seek answers. So that means let's pray for each other as we continue to find out what happened to my baby. And she said, sign Carmen Bolden Day. Hashtag what happened to Jelani Day. Hashtag justice for Jelani Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was 25. He was an aspiring doctor. I mean, he had a bright future ahead of him. A really bright future ahead of him.
But you know, part of the KKK's motto is to kill our young black men because they help us to reproduce, and they're not too worried about the women, but the men typically grow to be stronger and will fight back. So they have to exterminate them. And this is sounding more and more like it could be one of those cases. And I hate that, especially in this day and age, because as far as we've come so far as a people, but then, we still, I don't care what nobody says, we still feel the effects of slavery, of Jim Crow, of, the civil rights era. We still feel the effects of that. And
racism.
To have a racial or racially motivated, possibly racially motivated hate crime committed, that just puts you back in that mind frame that you cannot trust white people. And I hate that.
Not all of them.
I know. But I'm saying it takes you a minute because you start looking and analyzing everybody, but then you have to think, okay, well, so-and-so ain't like that, and this person, and it takes you a second to get back to reality, to what you know to be true. But it fucks with your mental, it fucks with your peace.
It does. And even like when my kids were little, I don't know if you had kids who had really close besties with white kids, but
have you heard
my youngest my youngest my youngest son, he had a best friend. He had like 5 best friends, but one of them was white, and he was always invited at their house. We always invited him at our house. I love that little boy. They still keep in contact to this day, and they both 20 years old. But when he first started going over his house, I told him signs to look out for from the parents, the grandparents, the uncles, the aunts, the cousins. I mean, it's the same thing like with the police, how we got to train our kids how to act in front of police, how to behave, move real slow, tell them I'm about to grab my wallet, tell them I'm about to open the door, tell them I'm about to reach for my, you have to talk to them like that. And it was, I felt I had to do that back in the day because I remember growing up and some of the white people I hung around, their parents back then, it's like we couldn't see it because I was real young. And when you grow up in the hood, you mainly around black people. And then when you go over a white person's house, I'm like, okay, like some things I can see now that I didn't see then. So I would tell them if somebody's disrespecting you, saying some stuff that you think is condescending, something like that, because your friend, your bestie could be cool and not a racist. But then, further up the chain, when you get to the elders in the same family, they might feel a certain way about black people. And you don't want your kid to be caught up in no bullshit, because then you got to come through there kicking down doors. Right. And it's a whole...
Then it'll be a whole situation.
Girl, a whole situation. I'll be like, you don't want these problems. You don't want these problems.
End with me sitting on the curb smoking my last cigarette for a while.
Girl, like I said, it's certain situations where I would just go to jail, tell my mama, don't worry about raising the bond money. And it's stuff that would happen to your kid. Like, I can't imagine what this lady, his mother, Carmen, is going through. Like she said on her post, we don't even remotely know how draining and emotional this is for them because it hasn't happened to us. But every situation like this, whether it's a cop murder, where it's something like this that happens to a black person, mysterious deaths, it's like it's very sad. It's very sad, especially when it happens to young black kids. He was
Mm-hmm.
25, but that's
That's
somebody's
still
kid.
young.
Still young. Still young. And I got a
Didn't even had a
24
chance
years
to
old,
live
you know?
life.
You got a 19-year-old son. I got a 24-year-old and a 20-year-old
Mm-hmm.
son. And I worry about them every single day
Oh,
that they
honey.
walk out the door. And we make it a point since they was little. Every day. I don't even have to. My son, as soon as he's about to turn on the alarm, love you, mom. See you later. It's like
My
we
kids know it's a
love you,
habit.
love you, love you, love you, love you all through the day.
I tell y'all all the time. I tell them, yeah, we made it a habit. It's,
Yep,
you get up in the morning. Good morning. I love you.
yep,
I love you most of all.
yep. At
And
nighttime, walk past his
right
door. Love you,
when
son.
they
Good
get ready
night.
to go to bed, okay, good night. I love you. I love
Because
you
you
most of
never
all.
know. You
You
just never
don't.
know.
You,
And it
you
ain't got to
never.
be something tragic like this. It could be a car wreck. It could be them get sick, coming down with something. You just never know. So we make it a point. You do not leave out this house. My oldest son, 24, don't hang up the phone. We don't. It don't matter if he just called. Hey, mom, we dropping the baby off. All right, love you.
I
Bye.
know
I
I've
mean, it's
gotten in the
like,
habit of doing that with my
yeah.
family, with people in general, my family and my friends. When I hang up, okay,
Hmm.
love you, just
Hmm.
because life is so short.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Me and my homegirl. I ain't gonna say her name, but we be hanging out sometime and on the phone sometime, and we some old heads. We grew up together, but still, it's like when you have those type of people in your life, good friends, besties, your family. Like it's not odd for
Yeah,
me to
Katie,
say "love you, girl" when I get off the phone, or her say "love you, girl," and with my sisters, and "love you" with my bro. We was on the phone for like an hour last week talking about our dad. My stepdad, his real dad, but
hmm
we was on the phone talking about everything under the sun, laughing and everything. And after he was like, "Love you, sis. Love you, bro. Talk to you later." It's like those words are so important to me because you just
yeah.
never know. Life is too short. Life is very, very short, and you just never know. You just never know.
And you're right, Katie. I do that with both my kids, not just my son,
Hmm.
but my
Hmm.
daughter also.
You're right, Katie. Yep. Yep. Well, a black son or daughter has daily. Yep. It's real. It's
Because
so
black girls,
real.
what a
Like,
lot of people don't address, and it's
whew,
sad. Black girls have a lot of trauma too.
yeah.
Young black girls have a lot of trauma too.
Hmm.
They carry a lot of time they carry not only their emotional burdens, but the
Hmm.
burdens of almost every female in their family that they come in contact with. Because
Yeah.
everybody got a story, and that story may stick with that child.
Yeah. I remember a time my oldest son got pulled over. Whew. And at first I was like, I think I told this story before, but at first I was like, when he hit me up afterwards, it was his first time being pulled over when he was like, I don't know, 20, something like that. And I was terrified. I was like, "Oh my God, what happened? Why they pull you over?" Because I'm like immediately thinking about just police brutality, all that kind of stuff against black people by the police. And he was like, "Mom, you always taught me not to reach for the phone or nothing when I'm getting pulled over." Because I was like, "Why did you call me? Why didn't you call me right away?" I said, "Duh, duh, duh, Tanya, duh." Of course I taught him that. But I was so
Katie, and I
panicked
don't
because
mean
I'm
to
like, whew,
and I don't mean to, just say only black women feel that, but
mhm,
for the most, I can only speak from my perspective, from
yeah,
what I've lived and what I've seen. And I'm
mhm.
sure, white women, Hispanic women, women in general.
Yeah, everybody, I think every culture, every race goes through something. There are
Yeah.
some things that we went through for over 400 years that other races went through, maybe similar, like the hit, like, girl, I can't imagine that shit. The shit we went through, for 400 years, that shit that Hitler put all them people through.
The
I
Jewish
mean, just
people.
throwing babies into the fires and lining people up and just shooting them with shotgun. I mean, the most despicable things that you could do to a human being. A lot of different races and cultures have been through hell and back, or their ancestors.
Yeah.
So yeah, we all go through certain shit, and that's why a lot of people sometimes are like, well, all lives matter, and they kind of take away from the Black Lives Matter movement, because we know that all lives matter, but in a way it's like all
But why
lives
do
don't
black
matter
people have to
until
fight to get
right.
the same rights that we are supposed to be enabled with from birth? Why do we have to fight to get
Just
that
start giving
right?
them
That's the
rights.
point.
Yeah, and that's why some people say, they try to break it down as this: all lives don't matter until all Black lives matter. And that's it. It's not like we don't love no other races. It's not like we are prejudiced. Like some people, oh, you guys got to be racist or prejudiced if you think all lives. No, people just be dragging it out.
They
Like they
do.
know what it means. They just
That's just
be,
like with Colin Kaepernick kneeling. They knew what that was about, and
yeah,
yet they did not care.
they
They
didn't
wanted to make it
care.
into something else.
Oh, they're trying to be disrespectful. They just want to be disrespectful. They
They're
just want to be,
disrespecting the
you
flag. That is
know,
a piece of material. That's
right.
what
The
that
flag
is.
don't mean shit if we all don't have the same rights.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line.
And not only that, he did a silent protest, and he got permission from a vet to do it. The vet told him what to do, because initially Colin was sitting it out, and instead the vet told him, no, just kneel. Just kneel.
And it was a silent protest. He wasn't yelling things. He wasn't being explicit. He wasn't.
Right.
I mean, they might have called it making a scene, but you know what I mean.
Like, how's he making a scene? He's sitting there silently, ain't said a word, ain't did. He kneeling. Maybe it was against his religion. They don't know. Well, they do, but still.
Right.
Just like I remember when I was in school, like the just because that was what I knew, but like the kids that were Jehovah's Witness, they didn't salute the flag.
Yeah. I mean, I remember that too. A lot of different cultures back then. Like, remember how we used to say the Pledge of Allegiance and things like that. That was so like common back then. And then you know how they took prayer out to school and all that kind of thing. They said a lot of people joke around, but I think it's partially true when they took certain things out of school.
But yeah, when they took prayer out of school, the schools went to hell. They did. They did.
Yeah.